Hello YouTube, it's Atticus. How you guys doing? I am back with you with another Dark Elf versus Skaven game. So yeah, I had some people who requested the Dark Elf versus Skaven matchup. So yeah, I'm coming with you with a new build on a way you could go about fighting them. So yeah, we got a cool DNCE match here on one of the brand new maps. I think there's like 3 new maps. So let's go ahead and jump to the builds, guys, without any further ado. Leading the charge, I brought somebody who I don't really take a lot at Malekith. I really don't think he is the best lord in this matchup, even though most of the, top 100 players seem to always bring him. I saw like in the Everchosen, Invitational, and some of the other, really high skilled Dark Elf players who always take Malekith on a Black Dragon, which I think that a Supreme Sorceress on a Cold One is a better approach to take, but I figured I would try a compromise, a middle of the ground. We'll take Malekith, but instead of on his Black Dragon, we'll take him on a Chariot. So we're going to also have some good charges. He's going to have some pretty decent speed, and hopefully he'll be small enough where he's not going to get sniped by weapon teams and artillery pieces. So for my army, guys, you can see I have 2 Black Orc Corsairs of Hambos leading the charge right here. Obviously, these guys are up front. They're going to be, absorbing whatever the initial range units that my opponents has, and yeah, they'll be able to screen out a lot of Skaven units who try to skirmish with them. Also, we have a Bleak Sword here in the middle, followed through with 2 Dread Spears here in the back. So yeah, these guys are obviously going to be dealing with Rat Ogres and altars and things like that. Also, we have 2 more Bleak Swords on each flank. These guys are going to hopefully be able to get around the sides to try to get into weapon teams. And also, in my third line right here, guys, our real killing power, we have 2 units assist as a slaughter. So I put them in the very back. That way, hopefully, they won't get hit by any range units or artillery. These guys have a nice little buffer of shaft units ahead of them. And yeah, these guys will be the real killing power of my army. Also, here in Deep Vanguard, guys, this is the sneaky attack that I have. I have 2 units of Doomfire Warlock. So yeah, these guys are really great in this matchup. They have the bound spells. So I'm going to have the Lesser Doombolt, and I'm going to have the, not Soul Stealer, but Soul Blight, which will lower armor and weapon damage. So definitely gonna be using those Lesser Doombolts on some valuable targets, and hopefully be able to get these guys into their artillery pieces. Also, running with these guys, I have some Dark Riders of Shields, and yeah, the idea is that my opponent will see these guys coming out of the woods, will go to chase them and try to screen them out. Meanwhile, my Dark Riders will come in right through the middle right here and get into his artillery piece. So that's my army, guys. For Malekith, his spells I forgot to mention. I did bring. I got the Gaze of Malice, Soul Stealer, Blade Wind, Chill Wind, and yeah, that's it. But I also took all his magic debuff abilities, so it makes him pretty expensive. So he's going to make the Winds of Magics lower for my opponent. He's going to lower any of their spelling spells right here. So you can see right here, the Destroyer, which is going to get plus 15 ability recharge. We have the Circlet of Iron, which is again plus 50% miscast chance, and it's map wide, guys. And also we have the Supreme Spell Shield, which is going to decrease the power reserve. So that's his full kit, which makes him pretty pricey. But against Skaven, who rely a lot on magic, having him up there on a chariot, debuffing their lords, really could come in handy. So for my opponent right here, guys, we have Ikit Claw, I do believe. Yep, we have Ikit Claw up on his Doomflayer. So yeah, I'm glad I brought Malekith because he's going to have access to his Circlet of Iron and things like that, which is going to be debuffing his spells. And he does have Warp Lightning and a few other ones for his arsenal. Here in the front, guys, he does have the Natty Boo Balls, Sharpshooters. So yeah, these guys have the hidden, marksman talent, so they're going to be able to shoot me, and I won't see where they're shooting from. All I can see is the tracer round, so I'll have to really shut those guys down as quickly as possible. Then he has a front line here of Clan Rats with spears. We have some Clan Rats with shields. This is a little mixture of, just a lot of Clan Rats, a lot of bodies to throw at the Dark Elves, and this is, perfect for what I've brought. This is a slaughter or an excellent counter to, Skaven's trying to go real heavy on the numbers. My opponent also does have a secondary line of Storm Vermin with Halberds, so yeah, these guys are going to be really powerful. They're going to be protecting his back line, which is smart, and yeah, these guys are going to be a pain in the butt to deal with, but that's what the Black Orc Corsairs are meant for, and also the, supporting magic of Malekith. Also, guys, we have Ikit's Zap Zap, which is going to be lowering my ability recharge rate every time it hits Malekith, so yeah, that could come in handy if they're able to hit him. And guys, we also have the Plague Monk Censer Bearers, so yeah, he has them in the back. You don't want these guys doing the initial charge, but yeah, hopefully these guys will be able to do a little bit of damage. They'll be a good counter to the Sisters of Slaughter. My opponent also does have the Clan Vulcan Tail Slashers, the fire damage, and these guys would be really good against like Hydras and Crybuses and things like that, even though I'd recommend maybe putting those guys in the middle. You might get a little bit more value for them. And also, last but not least, we have 2 units of Rat Ogres, so yeah, Rat Ogres are always really important in this matchup. And and they'll be a really good counter to all my Doomfire Warlocks and Dark Riders that I do have in the match here. So right off the bat, as the Sloth said to the Hibiscus Flower, yeah, we're going to start just moving up the army here. I'm going to be really patient with my cavalry right here, guys. You can see that all of them are hidden, so there's no sense rushing out right here. I'm going to wait for my opponent to make a mistake, and hopefully once he does, if he thinks he has like a false sense of security, run them right into the back and get into that zap, and also that weapons team that he has, the Natty Boo Balls. You can see my opponent is going to start coming up here ahead with these guys, and these guys have a lot of speed, so yeah, you can, use them like a mobile artillery piece, and you can see they're going to get into range, and they're going to start shooting my Black Orc Corsairs. These guys do have shield breaker, so yeah, they're going to be able to do some good damage. They'll bypass a lot of the armor of my Black Orc Corsairs and start, shooting these guys in the face. So you can see that I'm not going to go charging ahead of Malekith. I'm just going to run around the back right here. I'm going to stay out of range of his artillery piece and his Natty Boo Balls. I need to wait for my army to get in position. And, it's a little bit of a trade-off. If he wants to hit these guys, that's fine, because they're a range unit. So, once we get into the main engagement, it's not going to matter how much, how low their leadership's going to be. These guys will still be able to shoot, even though they are just getting absolutely just hammered by those Natty Boo Balls. But, I don't really have any powerful units. I don't have, Hargan Executioners and things like that, which he could really get a lot of value from. You can see some of the splash damage from the Zap is going to hit my Dread Spears, but what's really important, guys, is keeping my Sisters of Slaughter alive. And you can see that I am just choosing to walk. I'm not running. I'm trying to save the stamina till we get a little bit closer. Then I'm going to give the run command. Malekith is making a long approach here on the outskirts of the map. I'm trying to be really patient with him. And my opponent is wisely going to come in the woods. So he must have suspected that there was going to be an ambush or, something like that. And he's going to spot my big vanguarded army here, which is going to force me to have to respond. Excuse me. So you can see I'm going to send the two Doomfire Warlocks on a downward, slope right here to try to avoid those Rat Ogres, and then the Dark Riders will come in, and these guys are still hidden right here, so he doesn't see these two guys. So I'm really lucky. I'm trying to lure him away. And yeah, our front lines are getting ready to collide right here, guys. You can see Malekith's being really patient. I'm not sending him into battle yet, and we're just waiting and looking for an opening. And you see I do kind of juke and jive his Red Ogres. I do get my Doom Bolts off on both the Plague Bearers and the Storm Vermin. And yeah, we do a little bit of damage. You'll see how much damage we do on these Plague Bearers. So yeah, it wasn't the greatest damage, guys, but it's free damage, so I'll take it. And you can see we're obviously going to use our speed, and we're going to just kind of disrupt his front line. He is going to overcompensate trying to chase these guys, which allows me to spring my trap, guys. You can see that the Dark Riders are coming in from the south. Even though my opponent is going to try to catch him with the Rat Ogres, I'm just going to keep, click, 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 and we should hopefully be able to get into the Ikid Zap. Over here, you can see my opponent did get Dark Riders into these, or excuse me, his Rat Ogres into those Dark Riders, but yeah, that's fine, guys. We're all into his back line right now. You can see we're into his artillery piece, and yeah, we're harassing his Natty Boo Balls too, so that's a really good value for me. Front lines have collided, guys. We have Bleak Sore, Sisters of Slaughter. We have everybody colliding, and you can see I am going to use the Soul Blight, both of them on both of the lines of my opponent. So this is really powerful. These are free spells from the Doomfire Warlocks, which is just going to make his front lines just crumble. And you can see Malekith's going to get in there and get a charge. So now their guys are fighting with less weapon strength. They're fighting with less armor, and this is going to make it a little bit easier for us. You can see I'm going to get a Gaze of Malice on these guys right here, which is instantly going to break their front line. Let me slow it down here for a second. So now that these guys, I've broken their front line, I'll be able to reinforce the back right here and send those guys into those Storm Vermin. You can see I'm going to get a Blade Wind into these Clan Rats right here, and all I'm trying to do is I'm trying to, cast all my magic, shatter that front line, and allow me to get into his secondary line where he's, doing the most damage. You can see I do have these Black Corsairs of Hambos providing Overwatch. These guys are such a good counter to Rat Ogres if they do try to, attack me, and you can see my opponent is going to run away at the Rat Ogres, which will free up these Dark Riders to pressure that back line. My Blade Wind does just shatter the front line, guys. You can see all across right here, the Druki Horde is pushing through. And yeah, if we're able to shut this artillery piece down, we're going to be in a really powerful position. You can see Ikid Claw is fighting amongst the Doomfire Warlocks, but I am going to send these guys in to get a rear charge. So yeah, they're going to get hit from the back, which will drop their leadership, and it's going to allow me, guys, just to totally just bypass his front army. Malekith, it's instantly going to go for Ikid Claw. He does have really good armor piercing, so yeah, I figured it'd be a good way to shut down that Doomflayer. My opponent really needs to get his Zap dealing with Malekith, but yeah, he's been shooting our infantry this whole game, and you can see that my Doomfire Warlocks and Malekith are going to just converge onto Ikid Claw. I'm going to get another Doom Bolt right onto these Storm Vermin here, and yeah, guys, it's looking really good for us. You can see Balance of Power, though, is still kind of in the middle. It's still to go anybody's game. He still doesn't have all these scary units of Storm Vermin and Rat Ogres fighting. You can see that he is getting a chain lightning, or excuse me, a warp lightning, but I am debuffing his magic, guys, so keep that in mind. Over here, Dread Spears are fighting amongst these rat ogres, and yeah, it's looking really good for us, guys, but his artillery piece is still shooting, so I need to get some of my cavalry here in the back to try to shut that down, and you can see I'm just escorting units off the map with these Dark Riders, and I'm just trying to be patient. Over here, you can see we are going to break Icked Claw, so it's looking really good for us, guys. You can see that these rat ogres are going to come to support. They're going to come charging into these bleak swords, and yeah, it's going to keep Malekith busy for a little while, guys, but I just have so many range units right here. They're going to shoot into the low armor at those rat ogres and be able to, easily destroy these guys. You can see I'm going to get my second Doom Bolt from the Doomfire Warlocks. It's going to hit the rat ogres here, and we'll go ahead and look at the damage. So the first volley comes, boom, breaks the leadership. We kill a few models. You can see I come up through the middle of these Doomfire Warlocks, and yeah, we're instantly going to go for Icked Claw. We don't want him getting back into combat, and we're just doing everything we can to try to keep those guys busy. You can see I'm going to get another Soul Blight, which is going to lower the armor and weapon damage of these Storm Vermin, and this is, exactly how you deal with Storm Vermin. You use those kind of spells, and then you just hit them from every angle, and you can see now, guys, we're just mosh pitting onto his units. Balance of power is creeping into my favor. You can see on every flank I'm getting rear charges with these Dark Riders. It's going to shut down the Vulcan tails right there. Sisters of Slaughter are perfectly made for dealing with the Storm Vermin, and yeah, Malekith is still at really full health as well, and you can see that we do get Icked off the map. He is starting to shoot his artillery piece on the Malekith, but I do have a Soul Stealer in reserve if I do take too much damage, and you can see that I'm just going to take it point blank in the face. Even though we're dealing with all his rats, his artillery piece has just stayed this whole game just shooting into my my army, which has been pretty good of my opponent. You can see he does have some clan rats who are trying to come to reinforce, but I'm going to cut them off with these Dark Riders, and yeah, his last leadership, his last bit of units are starting to collide, guys, especially with these two Black Orc Corsairs shooting into these Storm Vermin. It's just making it where he just, there's just too much units for him to deal with. You can see Malekith's going to come in there, get a really good charge, and that's going to be army losses for my opponent, and victory for the Druki. So cool game. We'll go ahead and look at the end-screen breakdown and talk about some of the keys for my success. And the big key for success, guys, was my ambush of my cavalry, the two Doomfire Warlocks and the two Dark Riders. You saw what we did, guys. We were able to use two Soul Blights on both parts of his front line. We were able to get the rear charges with them, which instantly crumbled that front line. And that's the bad thing about doing clan rats. The leadership's so low, so if they get hit by Malekith's magic, they get hit by Soul Blights and Blade Winds, it's instantly going to crumble them. It's going to allow me to get into the back line. We were able to keep his rat ogres busy with Dark Riders, which allowed me to, just run rampant through his army, and we're able to catch Icked Claw out of position. So Malekith was able to duel him with the assist of the Doomfire Warlocks. So definitely the bound spells of the Doomfire Warlocks really helped. Malekith had a lot of good value with his Blade Winds and Gaze of Malice, and of course the Sisters of Slaughter are just excellent. There's not a Skaven unit these guys can't fight, can't handle. Also, Black Orc Corsairs are a perfect counter to Rat Ogres. These guys will just shoot them in the face and just keep running, and yeah, this is such a good synergy in this army. So that's one way going about fighting the new Druki army, guys, or excuse me, the new Skaven army. I'll bring you some more examples and more builds, but I think this one's a pretty cool one if you want to try Malekith. So, alright guys, it's Atticus. I hope you enjoyed that one, and I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye now.